You just ate a huge meal, you're stuffed, your belt feels tight, and then the dessert tray comes by, and somehow, it still goes down. That's not greed, that's not weak willpower. Your body is literally telling you it's full, and you keep eating anyway, almost like your hand didn't get the memo. So why can't you stop eating, even when you're not hungry? Why does the hand reach for the chips when the stomach is already done? Today we open up the machine. 2 hungers, food built to trick you, and a brake pedal your brain stopped feeling. None of it is a flaw in you. Here's the part nobody says out loud. You can be completely full and still want more. Energy tank topped off and the craving doesn't care one bit. And it's so easy to read that moment as personal failure. Like everyone else got an off switch and yours came broken. Like you're the one person on earth without any self-control. But that craving isn't coming from an empty tank. It's coming from a completely different system in your brain. And once you see it, it stops feeling like a moral problem. Because you don't have one hunger, you have 2, and they run on completely separate wiring in your brain. One quietly watches your energy. The other one is only chasing reward. The first one is the honest one. Your body burns through its fuel, the tank drops low, and it sends up a clear signal. Hey, we actually need energy here. Go eat. Real physical hunger. The second one doesn't care about your fuel tank at all. It's the reward system. It eats for the pleasure, the taste, the little hit of good. Not because your body actually needs the calories. Scientists call them homeostatic hunger and hedonic hunger. Plain version, hunger for fuel and hunger for the good feeling. 2 different drivers, both completely normal, both built right into you. And when there's food everywhere, which for most of us there always is, the reward one can quietly take the wheel. Even with a full tank, it doesn't ask for permission. And this isn't just a hunch of mine. A major review in the Journal of Nutrition lays it out plainly. The reward pathway can override the fuel pathway during times of plenty. And it goes even further than that. Highly tasty food triggers a powerful release of dopamine deep in the brain's reward center. Your wiring lights right up, exactly as designed. So eating with a full stomach isn't you being broken. It's one healthy system overruling another. Both of them doing their job exactly as they should. I want to sit on that for a second because it changed how I see my own late-night kitchen raids. It was never about hunger. It was the reward channel wide open. And here's a twist that genuinely helped me. Wanting food and liking food are not the same thing in your brain. They run on separate machinery, and they can fire completely out of sync. Liking is the actual pleasure, that moment when it tastes good in your mouth. Wanting is the pull, the magnetic drag toward the food, and it shows up before you've even taken the first bite. So next time your hand drifts to the snack, try this. Name it out loud. That's wanting, not hunger. Just naming it puts a tiny gap between you and the reach. You don't have to win the fight or summon some heroic willpower. You just have to notice which system is doing the talking. That little pause is enough to feel like you again, not a passenger. Because the cruel part is, the wanting can stay loud even after the liking fades. You finished the bag and the last chips weren't even that good, but the pull was still there. That's the machine pulling you forward by craving, not by joy. Knowing that gap even exists is honestly half the freedom. You can like something less and less, and still feel yourself getting dragged toward it. And the food you're being dragged toward, it wasn't grown, it was built. Engineered on purpose to hit your reward wiring as hard as physically possible. There's a sweet spot, the exact blend of fat, sugar, and salt that lights up the reward center harder than anything in nature. Food makers found it and aimed straight for it. And this is measurable, not just a metaphor. Researchers actually built a hard numeric definition of these hyper-tasty foods, 3 exact combos of fat, sugar, and salt that the brain can't resist. Then they ran it on a US food database. Out of nearly 8,000 products, 62% matched. Most of the shelf is engineered to be hard to stop eating. And brain scans back it up. When people eat a food they love, scanners catch a real dopamine spike, and the bigger the spike, the more pleasure they report. So when you can't stop at just one chip, that's not a character flaw or a moral weakness. That's a product, doing exactly what it was engineered to do. Pushing against a reward system that's only doing its job. This is the part that hit me hardest. You're not in a fair fight. On one side, a system shaped over millions of years. On the other, a snack designed in a lab to beat it. And you were taught the whole time that losing that fight means something is wrong with you. It doesn't. It means the fight was rigged before you sat down. But food hijacking your reward system is only half the story. Because even a strong pull should get shut off eventually. Your body does have a brake, a real physical one built right in. When you eat enough, your fat cells release a signal that tells your brain tank's full, ease off the appetite, you can stop now. That signal is a hormone, and it's called leptin. Stay with me here, because this next part is the one that finally made me stop blaming myself, and if it does the same for you, that's the whole reason I make these. So you'd think, more body fat, more leptin, a stronger brake, and less hunger. Problem solves itself, right? That's exactly what should happen on paper. It's clean, it's logical. But it doesn't. In a lot of bodies, the leptin is high. The brake signal is genuinely screaming, and the brain just stops hearing it. The message gets sent over and over, and it never lands. A review in the journal Metabolism spells it out plainly. With excess weight, leptin levels go up, not down. The signal isn't missing. It's loud, louder than ever, in fact. But the same review says most people carrying extra weight simply don't respond to it anymore. The brake is fully pressed, and the car keeps rolling forward. Scientists call this leptin resistance. Plain version, the full signal is being broadcast at full volume, but the receiver in your brain has gone quiet. The station's transmitting to a dead radio. Take a breath here, because this matters. If you've been eating past full and hating yourself for it, the off switch was muffled. You were never ignoring it on purpose. You can't out-willpower a signal your brain can't hear. So the move isn't more shame, it's slower meals, giving the quiet signal extra time to actually reach you. And notice everything that's stacked against you now. The reward system pulling you in. The food deliberately built to pull even harder. And the brake pedal that's quietly gone soft. 3 forces, and not one of them is your character. The gas pedal is being mashed down by a craving you never asked for. The brake is muffled by a signal you genuinely can't hear. Of course the car keeps moving. That's just physics. And here's why understanding this beats fighting it. You can't shame a hormone into working. But you can change the food, slow the meal, and let the honest hunger get a word in. None of that requires you being stronger than you are. It just requires knowing which part of the machine is loud right now and learning to step around it instead of trying to muscle through it. Now, you've probably heard the loud version of all this, the one that says food is basically a drug and you're chemically addicted. It sounds dramatic and it sounds final. But here's where I have to be honest with you, because that's the whole point of this channel. On the addiction claim, the science is genuinely split. It is not settled. One careful study actually measured the dopamine hit from an ultra-processed milkshake. It came out small, wildly inconsistent from person to person, and far, far weaker than what real drugs produce. So the headline that food slams your brain like a drug, that specific claim gets pushed back hard by the actual data. The reward system is involved, but calling it a drug is a real stretch. So let's drop the drug word and just say what's actually true. Your reward system reacts to food. Your fullness brake can go quiet. Both of those are real and proven. Neither one makes you an addict. And here's the reframe that I keep coming back to. Your appetite isn't weak, it isn't broken, it's running at full capacity, and it works a little too well. Your reward system does its job perfectly. It chases the richest, most calorie-dense food it can find. For your ancestors, that exact instinct was survival itself. The wiring just never got the memo that the world changed. And your fullness signal isn't lazy either. It's shouting as loud as it can. The line to your brain just got jammed. That's not a weak system. It's a strong one, overwhelmed. A load problem, not a you problem. So put it together. A reward system working too well on food engineered to exploit it, with a brake signal drowned out. Every single part is functioning. You're not the bug. This is different from, say, why you can't stop checking a slot machine there. The trap is the timing, the random payout. Here, the trap is the recipe, same reward system, 2 different hacks. And that distinction is freeing because it points at what you can actually move. You can't argue with a craving, but you can change the recipe in front of you and slow the bite down. So back to that dessert that went down even though you were stuffed. Now you know what happened. The reward channel said yes while the brake sat muffled. Neither one was you failing. If this took some weight off your shoulders, tell me in the comments which one finally clicked. The 2 hungers, the engineered food, or the muffled break. I read them. And if you've got a behavior you keep doing and quietly beating yourself up over, drop it below. There's a decent chance it's a working system, fooled, and a new one of these lands every week. Because the goal was never to white-knuckle your way into eating less. It was to stop fighting yourself in the dark and see the whole machine in the light. Once you can see it, you can step around it. So the next time you just can't stop, don't reach for the shame. Reach for the map instead. 2 hungers, food built to win, a break gone quiet, and a person who was never actually the problem. You're not broken, you're just wired different. I'm Milo.